Want to make sure everybody's getting what they paid for. You know, we don't want to have to refund these tickets.
Well, here's what I'm doing. I've started to go ahead and record it, and I'll go back and watch it. And if it seems unviewable, then I'll go ahead and from this point forward, I will go ahead and I will upload this version of the program, the one that I'm recording.
Okay. I'm gonna just say okay. I think is that.
Yeah, I don't know how exactly we're gonna work the Freedback Friday part, but it should be. I don't understand why because it's kind of delaying. And maybe I don't have a great internet connection here, but well, no, there it is. Now I'm looking at it. It's all fine. You just took your red beret off. Yeah.
It's a raspberry beret.
Oh yeah, your raspberry beret.
Kind you buy as long as you can see it, that's good. That's good. So we'll go with that. Okay, as I sit here behind my little red Corvette, let me talk to you about the governor of Utah. The governor of Utah, his name is Spencer Cox, and he got a letter. He got a letter from a constituent. What is reported to be a constituent there in the state of Utah, and he was told flat out that in the present society, and as aware as everybody is, that he cannot continue to have the last name that he has. You cannot go around with the name Cox and expect people to not be offended by it. They are offended by all of the Cox coming out of the White House or out of the Utah State House there. They said, listen, every time they turn on the news, it's nothing but Cox coming at them from Utah. Cox to the left, Cox to the right. They can't deal with it. Too much Cox, and they want him to change his name. They are sorry, but it's offensive, and they no longer want to face the Cox every day like they do.
So I'm assuming. Now I know how his name is spelled, and I think that as long as his name. Well, first of all, I'm sorry. Some people have entirely too much time on their hands.
Oh, yeah.
Really, if that is what offends you, then you really need to go do something with yourself. And I won't say what you need to do with yourself, but you need to find a better way to entertain yourself, because that is just an idiotic thing. And the only reason we're reporting on it is because it is hilarious.
Yeah. Listen, I'm more offended by his first name, Spencer. Hello, Spencer.
I know.
When have you ever known a Spencer before? And if you have, they were an uptight Cox. They were just, you can't have a guy named Spencer hanging around. That's my buddy Spencer. What is he, the butler, or what is he? You can't have somebody named Spencer. It's just...
No, not as your governor. You can't have a Spencer as your governor. That doesn't work. It just doesn't work.
No, it does not. It does not. So yeah, I'm a little more offended by the first name, but this is real, folks. And you can go to the governor's website. This report on multiple news agencies that he got an actual letter. It's from real constituents, or again, it came from a Utah address, so they're assuming it's constituent, and they want him gone. They want the governor to change his name, and the governor said, no, go away. So I don't get it. I don't get how people can even think that that's normal. But then again, Craig, we see stuff all the time that happens in the aware woke community, and we're like, did that really happen? I'm going to need some independent news. Was that from the Babylon Bee? Where'd that come from? There's no way that could be real, and it ends up being real. And that's what we have going on with the Governor Cox there. So I'm glad that Governor Cox stood up and said no.
Yeah, it definitely makes you wonder what. Like I said, it makes you wonder what are people thinking. Like I said, and also some people just have entirely too much time on their hands.
Exactly right. Like those people that have time to go inside and get a raspberry beret out to celebrate the 99th episode. 99, Craig, 99.
99.
99. Hey, before we get too much further in, let's talk about our sponsors today. We want to remind everybody what we have available for them if they're happen to be tuning in and they want to be part of the program here. From our good friends at Grid Defense and Gorilla Machining, we have it's a 9-inch or perhaps a 10-inch 5.56 barrel. It depends on how long, which way you measure it, I guess. So they have a 5.56 barrel that can go with your pistol build or your short barrel rifle build. from our good friends. This week happens to be from Gorilla Machining, and then again, they have a T-shirt to go with it. So there's a nice Gorilla Machining T-shirt. Although I can tell you what size this one is. The last couple ones were sealed. Didn't have the opportunity to tell you. It's so soft though, Greg. It's just, I mean, it's softer than my beret, my raspberry beret, celebrating the 99th episode of the program. This one is wow, it's a 2XL, Greg. I might just save this one for you. So we don't have a T-shirt. Evidently, we only have the barrel to send you. So we've got a barrel. This is a nice 5.56 barrel for your pistol build, for your AR rifle or short barrel rifle or pistol. From our good friends.
Very nice.
Gorilla Machine.
I'm going to apologize to everybody. I'm looking. The feed just doesn't seem to be a really good feed. So anyway, we're going to keep going with the program. We'll work on maybe doing a giveaway next week. Unfortunately, I think where I'm at, the internet connection isn't that good, which is weird because I just did a live feed from here, and I think maybe because I'm bringing you in and then sending it out, that may be a challenge. But for some reason, the feed is not looking good on any of the channels.
Well, how many thousands of people are watching right now? We don't want to make them suffer. We could cut it short and just make it Freedback Monday if we want to.
Oh, we could do that. Why don't we just go ahead and we'll just go ahead and do it. Like I said, I'm recording it. We'll go ahead and we'll upload it, and so at least there'll be a show for today. And then maybe we'll just do the giveaway on Monday. How about that?
On the 100th episode.
On the 100th episode, we'll do the giveaway on the 100th episode.
On the 100th episode, we'll do the giveaway, and it'll be from our good friends at Gorilla Machining. This barrel right here.
There you go. So if you're watching today, great. If you're commenting today, great. But we know that the signal's not that good, so we're going to go ahead and we're going to keep going with the show. If you want, please stay tuned in. Please watch. Otherwise, this episode will be uploaded. It will be uploaded later on today. I'll upload it after we're done.
And perhaps Monday we'll also give away the Raspberry Beret.
There you go.
And
there you go.
This little red Corvette.
There you go.
Red Corvette.
Exactly.
Because it's episode 99.
Right.
99.
Exactly.
When I say 99, you're supposed to say 99. Don't you watch Brooklyn Nine-Nine?
No. 99.
It's the cheer. If I go 99, you have to say 99.
Okay, 99.
99.
99.
There we go. Okay, just like that. All right.
Okay.
Here we go. Let's keep moving. Along here. We got. We're going to talk about some problems for Waco Dave Chipman there, out of the ATF, formerly of the ATF, currently of the Brady campaign and Every Town for Gun Safety, and every moms hate everything, whatever that group is, the angry moms against everything. He has a little problem with disclosure, Craig. Evidently, even on the congressional questionnaires that he was given, he failed to disclose many of the speeches he did, many of the political agenda-driven speeches he gave outside of this country. He gave to the summit, China as well, by the way. There's your link right there with the Biden administration. Hint.
Another China link?
Another China. It's coming from
China.
The link going on there. So, he's failed to disclose a couple more of his speeches that he gave, some papers that he's written, some positions that he has put forth in this country and outside this country on his Second Amendment views. Again, this guy just, not only is he not telling the truth, then you know what he's going to do. Oh, well, I failed to disclose because there was only 12 blanks on the form. I did not disclose the 13th and 14th, There was just too many.
Well, that's what makes it so funny, is because when you consider the fact that he, a lot of the stuff that they want to regulate, that they want to make gun owners do and follow through, is, I'll be honest with you, it's almost as difficult knowing what you need to report and what you need to send in as a political candidate. So if anybody should kind of have some sort of, or as an appointee, if anybody should have some sort of, what's the word I'm looking for, empathy for gun owners, you would think it would be Dave Chipman. But, he doesn't care. Because the idea of developing a system that will actually help gun owners be in compliance, as opposed to trying to catch them and kind of use it as a gotcha, he's not really interested in anything like that.
No, no, no whatsoever. You know, again, we have an agency right now that's in the midst of another turmoil of reinterpretation of a U.S. piece of U.S. code. You know, they want to redefine it. They want to go after you know, dealers, manufacturers, you know, to take away firearms and guns. This guy's just going to jump right in there, go all for it, breaking the law. He's going to try and use. You know, again, this is an executive branch. The Department of Justice is an executive branch of the government. They get to enforce the laws, but he's going to want to go in there, play the legislative branch, and write new code, evidently, because he wants to make his own laws. And then he's going to be the judicial branch because he's going to determine whether or not the standards that he writes is legal or not. This guy wants to be all three branches of the government running the ATF. It's going to go amok. It's going to be Second Amendment grabbing. It's going to be gun grabbing all the time, all day, all night with Chipman in charge. It's just the way it is, folks. He's every time he's ever spoken, it's about taking your firearms away from you.
Yep, gun grabbing, Waco Dave.
That's it, Waco Dave. Come on, Dave. Dave wants to take your guns. Dave wants to take your guns. But maybe he failed to disclose that part. No, he didn't. He
didn't. He's pretty wide open about that.
Yeah.
He is pretty wide open about that.
Yep. Yeah. The only thing that he hasn't disclosed is, you know, he may have lost his own firearm. We know he's racist. We've heard him say, wow, were they cheating? It looks like a bunch of black agents passed the test. What? That's okay? Hey, woke folk, that's okay with you for him to say that?
Evidently it is. He's one of them, so evidently he gets away with it.
Oh, exactly right. Exactly right. Horrible stuff. Horrible stuff. This guy needs to go. This guy needs to go. Craig, let's roll right along. Let's roll down to the great Republic of Texas. You know, let's talk about what's going on there. The Governor Abbott has been in a battle with the Democrat legislators down there for the past couple weeks, maybe even a little bit longer than that. They were trying to have a quorum. They have to have a specific number, a minimum number of senators and Congress people down there for the state house. They were trying to get some budget items passed. They're trying to get some voters items passed, trying to get some of these mandates heard, and you know, perhaps a mandate to be passed there that you cannot have, well, a law passed saying you can't make a mandate to take people's rights away from them and make them wear masks and make them mandatory get vaccinations in order to receive, you know, basic rights guaranteed to them under the Constitution. So many of those Democrat senators fled, Craig, if you recall, and they said they were going to D.C. Some have come back to the state, and the governor there said, fine. What we'll do is we'll take your salary away from you, and that way, because if you're not going to be at work, we're not going to pay you. And they were like, well, fine, blah, blah, blah. So he said, okay, well, and by the way, we're going to take away your operating funds. So you no longer can pay your chief of staff, you can no longer pay your other employees, you can no longer pay for your office space. And now they're getting a little scared, Craig. They're getting a little scared, so some of them returned back, right? But they still don't have that quorum. So finally, the governor said, fine, you know what we're going to do? We're going to issue a warrant for your arrest. This is given via the Sergeant at Arms of the Texas State Legislature, who has the authority to do so, and with the caveat being they must be returned to the Capitol. They have to be brought back to the Capitol so they can be in face the quorum there. They can get back to legislative work. Well, there was a Texas judge that said, no, you can't do that. You can't do that. I'm going to put an injunction in place over that. Well, guess what? The Texas Supreme Court again has come to the defense of democracy and the Constitution and has said, hey, lower court judge, you go back to what you're doing down there because this is a legal order. Your injunction is now null and void, and the warrants are now back in effect to bring these people before the Sergeant at Arms.
Posse up. Let's go get them. It's time to round them up. Rough Riders.
Somebody's going to need to get a shitload of dimes.
Regulators, mount up.
So this is great. You know, listen, the governor's having to deal with this a lot. He's, every time he gives an order down there, there's some judge that says no, and then within a day later, another judge says yes. So he's having to deal with a whole headache worth of stuff he really, really needs to tighten up on these things. In my opinion, Craig, I would get the state legislature.
Right.
Well, listen, if you can't get the state legislature, I would petition the state Supreme Court, which does have a quorum, by the way, and get them to place these judges in jail for violation of due process. You
talking about judges or legislators?
I know. I would listen. There's already the warrant in place for these legislators. I'd get the state Supreme Court to go out there and start relieving other judges. Nope. Your findings were based on partisan politics and not fact alone. You're hereby on suspension until judicial review.
Well, I wouldn't be against that. I mean, I think you have to be careful. One of the things is when you get overturned too often, then that starts to affect your ability to either to move up. So I think one of the things is just getting slapped down by the higher court is a pretty big deal in judicial circles. But some people don't care, and when they demonstrate that they don't care, then you do need to start to look to the next level, because at a certain point they're supposed to be defending the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the state of Texas, and if they're clearly violating it, then it's time for them to be held up for some sort of review and perhaps removed from the bench.
Yeah, absolutely right. And for the most part, Craig, I would agree with you. I'd say that it does not make things look better for them. But let's say they're politicking, they're waiting for a Democrat to take office so they can be forced upward. Well, you're so controversial you're exactly what we want on the new state Supreme Court or on our appellate level court. So some of them they feel empowered every time they get struck down. So we'll see. We'll see how it goes. I just this governor, Governor Abbott, has no problem evidently making sure warrants are issued and people are brought before the proper authorities. I'd like to see him do it with some of those judges, some of these state level judges, because that's what we're talking about. We're not talking about federal judges. We're talking about some liberal judge.
But even the state judges, they take an oath to uphold the Constitution of the United States and the state that they're in. And when they clearly violate that, as they do so often, I think they ought to be held accountable.
I agree. In concurrence here, and like I said before, I think judges and other elected officials should also have qualified immunity rather than full immunity. If they go out there and decide they want to break the law or violate the Constitution, they should be held civilly liable, and including relief of cause from office. Take them out.
Amen.
So, and that's what the governor gets to do. So, at least in the state of Texas. So stick around, find out which judge get the can. So it's coming up soon. All right, let's move on. Speaking of judges, let's talk about Justice. Supreme Court Justice Amy Coney Barrett. She recently, because it happened in the portion of the country that she's responsible for, the circuit she's responsible for, out of the state of Indiana, was where they had a petition because in the state of Indiana, the students were ordered to be vaccinated if they want to return to class. And if they're unable to get vaccinated, they would be tested weekly until they could get vaccinated. So this was not you could either get vaccinated or you don't have to, you just got to get tested. The ruling was you have to be vaccinated, and if you can't get it done in the next week or two, we'll allow you to show a negative test, but you're going to have to be vaccinated. Well, it came towards her. They're looking for a petition, for injunctive relief to stay this order from the University of Indiana there. And Craig, I got to tell you, there's some people upset, but when this went forward, I knew that this was probably going to be the ruling. You just start examining the court so much and how they work. They're such a strict constitutionalist that Judge Barrett declined to issue the injunction, and the reason she declined to issue the injunction is because you're a volunteer to go to college. You've not been drafted to go to college. It is not your employment to go to college. You have made the option to go to college. If you do not wish to be vaccinated in that college, you have other options available to you. And that's why she did not give the injunctive relief to the petitioner.
Right. Well, I think I agree. I agree with you. There are a lot of precedents dealing with vaccines and vaccinations For example, all kids in California have to be vaccinated, show proof of vaccination before they can even enter kindergarten. So then there's that, and I think that, and a lot of times what happens is that may not necessarily wind up being the final decision regarding vaccinations, but that's simply she refused to put an injunction in place. So you never know how, yeah.
I'm sorry, go ahead, Craig, go ahead.
Oh, no. I think that, I don't know what direction it's going to go, but I just think there's too much precedent right now supporting the idea of, once again, if you don't want to go there, then you don't have to. Now, the challenge is some people have accepted, and this is the argument that I would be making is, so I have accepted a contract. I mean, I've already entered into a contract. I'm attending the school. I still have X number of units that I have to complete. I was accepted in a certain way. You don't get to change the contract. And so that would be the question that I would then raise. And I'm not a lawyer, so I don't know if that has any merit or not.
I think they could say the same thing. They're free to go continue their college education elsewhere. Now, what you're talking about in California, I think that would have merit. I think that would be different because I'm sure the California law says that children under the age of 18 must go through secondary education. So they have to go to school. You can't keep them home from school unless you're registered as a homeschooler because they have to go to school. And if
you can always send them to private school.
Yeah, well, if they were registered at a public school, and listen, you can't force somebody to go to private school. You can't make somebody pay to go to school when it's in a state where the education, where you pay tax money into that education system. So, if they say, I'm not getting the vaccination to go to school.
All I can tell you is California's vaccination program has stood up under legal scrutiny for years. That's why I figured that this was going to go the way it did. The one with
But hold on, there's a difference between vaccinations for measles, mumps, rubella, polio,
right,
and then there is for the COVID. There's a huge difference there. All right, it's been upheld. You're right many times.
Right,
you have to have these other,
And that's by the way, it's not required for students to get vaccinated to go to K-12 school. In California, they're not required. First of all, they can't get vaccinated if you're 12 or under. If you're under the age of 12, you can't get vaccinated for COVID anyway.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
okay. Yeah.
Anyway, I just used that. I just used that example as why I didn't think that I figured this was the way it was going to wind up going.
Right. So you were referring to MMR and polio.
Yes. Yeah.
No, there is no requirement in California that you have to be vaccinated to go to secondary education.
Right. Although they are requiring now the requirement that like the colleges now have for students, California schools now has for teachers and school staff. So they're either required to get tested, or they're required to be vaccinated, or they're required to be tested.
Well, and they've given them the option, right? Well, there's the option to not be vaccinated, to be tested. So they have relief. That's their relief right there.
Yeah.
They don't need an injunction. They already have relief in place.
Well, but you know what's crazy about that though is that now we're okay. So we're seeing data and information that says that if you've been vaccinated, you can still catch and spread COVID. So then, shouldn't we be testing people who've been vaccinated too?
Obviously, Craig, because don't forget now we have the booster series getting ready to come back out.
Right.
So remember, if you don't get vaccinated, then my vaccine won't work, and I could get the COVID because you're not vaccinated. So you got to get vaccinated so my vaccine works.
No, I honestly just think it's not a function of that. What it is, it's a function of we're trying to protect people who choose not to get vaccinated. My attitude is they don't want your protection. They've kind of said it. They don't want it.
I agree. Absolutely. Yeah. It's crap. What is it? I just saw the other day. I think we might have even said it on here. Was it, Craig? I need to make sure you take your vitamins today, because if you don't take your vitamins, then my vitamins won't work for me, because that's how it works.
So we're going to mandate I take my vitamins because you have to have your vitamins.
Right. So my vitamins won't work unless you take your vitamins. So you got to take your vitamins so my vitamins work also.
Pretty much.
Yep. All right, Craig. Let's one more time. Let's pump our good friends over at Gorilla Machining. We've got this nice 10.5, 9.5 barrel here. I don't have the ruler here in front of me, so we'll just call it a pistol length or a short barrel rifle length barrel for your AR-15. It is 5.56 caliber, so you get to shoot all of that government cartridge and have fun with it. So.
That's right, folks. We'll be handing it out. We'll be doing the show on Monday, and we'll hand it out on our 100th episode. We very much appreciate you guys, sticking with us. We appreciate you guys tuning in. I've been checking the live feed, and it looks really, really bad. So don't worry. We're going to record this and upload it, and we will definitely make sure that you get a chance to see all of the conversation. Well, I'm telling you, and as you're watching it, so you've already seen it. So very funny. But anyway, we really appreciate you. Oh, we almost forgot. Parting shot. Our good friend Governor Cuomo, who we made fun the other day about former Governor Patterson there. Even he's called this guy out recently, going, "What is this guy doing? He don't need 14 days. What are they doing up there? You just the hopeful here. She knows what's going on. You don't need 14 days to hand it over to her. Get your butt out of here. What are you doing up there?" So even the former governor is calling this guy out. So, and they're with the same party, by the way, too. So it wasn't like this is cross-party politics. Right.
Yeah.
Okay, here we go. This was hilarious. I'm not perverted. I'm just Italian. Now, as someone who is half Italian, I just want to say I was offended when he said I'm not perverted. When he made an insinuation that his gropiness was all about him being Italian.
I'm thinking, Craig, maybe listen. That's ridiculous. It's a ridiculous statement on its forefront. But maybe when you say it in Italian, it sounds softer. It sounds easier. It sounds. Let's try. No sono pervertito, sono solo italiano. Oh yeah, it sounds better, right? No sono pervertito, sono solo italiano. It sounds much better that way.
He said pervertito. Pervertito, is that a pervert? No pervertito. No solo pervertito. I'm not a pervert.
No sono pervertito. I'm not a pervert.
No sono
solo italiano. I am
no
Italian.
solo. Oh wow.
No sono pervertito. I'm not a pervert. Sono solo italiano.
Let's just make this easier. You're a pervert, Cuomo.
Yeah. Listen,
I mean, you would think he would listen to Joe Biden. I mean, pay attention to Joe Biden. Joe Biden knows. Look, you don't touch them. You just smell their hair.
That's right. So basically, here's what we have from the governor. Oh yeah, no, I did kiss them inappropriately when I wasn't supposed to. I did feel some boobs. I did squeeze some butts. But you have to understand, that used to be okay, and they've moved the bar, and I didn't realize they did that. So, it's not on me; it's their fault. That's what he said. That's what he said.
They knew, so they should have kept their body parts at a distance. That's what he's basically saying. Like, they knew the bar was moved. No one told me.
They can't bring that butt in a room with me. They know I'm a pervert. They know I'm Italian.
Oh, too much. Anyway, so it's about that time.
That's it. 9-9.
9-9. So hey, as we said, Freedback Friday on Monday now. Thank you so much for your patience. We really appreciate you guys tuning in. We appreciate you liking and sharing the program. Tell your friends about the Rundown. Enjoy your weekend.
Like, share, subscribe. Epstein didn't kill himself.